ज्ञानानन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Haribo, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for giving me the opportunity.
Hare Krishna, Nityanandan, Prabhu, Dandat Param, Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, this is long one. Okay, today we start the chapter 34, the super excellent power of Krishna. Who wants to start?
I can start. Oh, okay.
Okay,
You can start.
Prabhu.
If you want to do it, you can do it. No issue, Prabhu.
It's fine,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
is anyone on computer? Or
No, I'm on my phone, Prabhu.
No,
okay.
Prabhu, I'm on the phone, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, that's okay.
Krishna, Nityananda Prabhu, you want to start or shall I start?
You can start, Prabhu. I'll start from where I stop.
Okay, just 1 minute. I'll just connect my earphone. Yeah, I hope my voice is audible. I just connected to my earphone.
It is, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, it's normal.
Okay. Which chapter is it?
34.
Okay, Prabhu. 34, the super excellent power of Krishna. Long, long ago, there was an assembly of great sages on the bank of the river Saraswati, and they performed a great sacrifice of the name Tatra Yagya. In such assemblies, the great sages present usually discuss Vedic subject matters and philosophical topics. And in this particular meeting, the following question was raised. The three predominating deities of this material world, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, are directing all the affairs of this cosmos. But who among them is the supreme? After much discussion on this question, the great sage named Bhrigu, who is the son of Lord Brahma, was deputed to test all three predominating deities and report to the assembly as to who is the greatest. Being thus deputed, the great sage Bhrigu Muni first of all went to his father's residence in Brahmaloka. The three deities are the controllers of the three material qualities, namely the quality of goodness, passion, and ignorance. The plan decided upon by the sages was for Bhrigu to test which of the predominating deities possess the quality of goodness in full. Therefore, when Bhrigu Muni reached his father, Lord Brahma, because he wanted to test whether he had the quality of goodness, he purposely did not offer his respect to his father either by offering obeisances or by offering prayers. It is the duty of the son or a disciple to offer respects and recite suitable prayers when he approaches his father or spiritual master. But Bhrigu Muni purposefully failed to offer respects just to see Lord Brahma's reaction to this negligence. Lord Brahma was very angry at his son's impudency and issued signs which definitely proved this to be so. He was even prepared to condemn Bhrigu by cursing him. But because Bhrigu was his son, Lord Brahma controlled his anger with his great intelligence. This means that although the quality of passion was prominent in Lord Brahma, he had the power to control it. Prabhu, you can scroll down actually. Yes. Lord Brahma's anger and his controlling his anger are likened to fire and water. Water is produced from fire, but at the same time, fire can be extinguished with water. Similarly, although Lord Brahma was very angry due to his quality of passion, he could still control his passion because Bhrigu was his son. After testing Lord Brahma, Bhrigu went directly to the planet Kailasha, where Lord Shiva resides. Bhrigu happened. Just a minute. Yeah, okay. After testing Lord Brahma, Bhrigu went directly to the planet Kailasha, where Lord Shiva resides. Bhrigu happened to be Lord Shiva's brother. Therefore, as soon as Bhrigu approached, Lord Shiva became very glad and personally rose to embrace him. But when Lord Shiva approached, Bhrigu refused to embrace him. My dear brother, he said, you are always very impure. Because you smear your body with ashes, you are therefore not very clean. Please do not touch me. When Bhrigu refused to embrace his brother, saying that Lord Shiva was very impure, the latter became very angry with him. It is said that an offense can be committed either with body, with the mind, or by speech. Bhrigu first offense committed towards Lord Brahma was an offense with the mind. The second offense committed towards Lord Shiva by insulting him, criticizing him for unclean habits, was an offense by speech. Because the quality of ignorance is prominent in Lord Shiva, sorry, yeah, because the quality of ignorance is prominent in Lord Shiva. When he heard Brigu's insult, his eyes immediately became red with anger. With uncontrollable rage, he took up his trident and prepared to kill Bhrigu. At that time, Lord Shiva's wife Parvati was present. Her personality is a mixture of the three qualities, and therefore she is called Trigunamayi. In this case, she saved the situation by evoking Lord Shiva's quality of goodness. She fell down at the feet of her husband, and with her sweet word, she talked him out of killing Bhrigu. After being saved from the anger of Lord Shiva, Bhrigu went directly to the planet Dvipa, where Lord Vishnu was lying on a bed of flowers accompanied by his wife, the goddess of fortune, who was engaged in massaging his lotus feet. There, Bhrigu purposely committed the greatest sin by offending Lord Vishnu with his bodily activities. The first offense committed by Bhrigu was mental, the second offense was vocal, and the third offense was corporal. These three offenses are progressively greater in degree. An offense committed with the mind is a positive offense. The same offense committed verbally is comparatively more grave, and when committed by bodily action, it is superlative in offensiveness. So Bhrigu committed the greatest offense by touching the chest of Lord with his foot in the presence of the goddess of fortune. Of course, Lord Vishnu is all merciful. He did not become angry at the activities of Bhrigu because Bhrigu was a great Brahmana. A Brahmana is to be excused, even if he sometimes commits an offense. And Lord Vishnu set the example. Anyone else can read from here, or should I continue?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhu, please accept my obeisance is always to Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Jai Prabhu, Dandat Pranam Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhu, please accept my obeisance is always Srila Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu, I'll start. Yet it is said that from the time of this incident, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, has not been very favorably disposed towards the Brahmanas. And therefore, because the goddess of fortune withholds her benedictions from them, the Brahmanas are generally very poor. Bhrigu Muni's touching the chest of Lord Vishnu with his foot was certainly a great offense. But Lord Vishnu was so great that he did not care. The so-called Brahmanas of the Kali Yuga are sometimes very proud of that. They can touch the chest of Lord Vishnu with their feet. But when Bhrigu touched the chest of Lord Vishnu with his feet, it was different because although it was the greatest offense, Lord Vishnu, being greatly magnanimous, did not take it very seriously. Instead of being angry or cursing Brigumuni, Lord Vishnu immediately got up from his bed along with his wife, the goddess of fortune, and offered respectful obeisances to the Brahmana. He addressed Brigumuni as follows: My dear Brahmana, it is a great blessing for me that you have come here. Please, therefore, sit down on this cushion for a few minutes. My dear Brahmana, I am very sorry that when you first entered, I could not receive you properly. It was a great offense on my part, and I beg you to pardon me. You are so pure and great that the water which washes your feet can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Therefore, I request you to purify the Vaikuntha planet where I live with my associates. My dear father, great sage, I know that your feet are very soft like a lotus flower, and that my chest is hard as a thunderbolt. I am therefore afraid that you may have felt some pain by touching my chest with your feet. Let me therefore touch your feet to relieve the pain you have suffered. Lord Vishnu then began to massage the feet of Brigumuni. The Lord now con- the Lord continued to address Bhikkhuni. My dear Lord, he said, my chest has now become sanctified because of the touch of your feet, and I am now assured that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, will be very glad to live there perpetually. Another name for Lakshmi is Chanchala. She does not stay in one place for a long time. Therefore, we see that a rich man's family sometimes becomes poor after a few generations, and sometimes we see that a poor man's family becomes very rich. Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, is Chanchala in this material world, whereas in the Vaikuntha planet, she eternally lives at the lotus feet of the Lord. Because Lakshmi is famous as Chanchala, Lord Narayana indicated that she might not have been living perpetually by his chest, but because his chest had been touched by the feet of Brigumuni. It was now sanctified, and there was no chance that the goddess of fortune would leave. Brigumuni, however, could understand his position and that of the Lord, and he was struck with wonder at the behavior of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because of his gratitude, his voice choked up, and he was not able to reply to the words of the Lord. Tears glided from his eyes, and he could not say anything. He simply stood silently before the Lord. After testing Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, Bhrigumuni returned to the assembly of the great sages on the bank of river Saraswati and described his experience. After hearing him with great attention, the sages concluded that all the predominating deities, certainly Vishnu, is situated in the mode of goodness in the highest degree. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, these great sages are described as Brahma Vaidinam. Brahma Vaidinam means those who talk about the absolute truth, but do not but have not yet come to a conclusion. Generally, Brahma Vaidi refers to the impersonalists or those who are students of the Vedas. It is to be understood, therefore, that all the gathered sages were serious students of the Vedic literature, but had not come to the definite conclusions as to who is the supreme absolute personality of Godhead. After hearing Brihumuni's experience in meeting all three predominating deities, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Vishnu, the sages concluded that Lord Vishnu is the supreme truth, the personality of Godhead. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that after hearing the details from Brihumani, the sages were astonished because although Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva were immediately agitated, Lord Vishnu, in spite of being kicked by Brihumani, was not agitated in the least. The example is given that the small lamps may become agitated by a little breeze, but the greatest lamp of the greatest illuminating source, the sun, is never moved, even by the greatest hurricane. One's greatness has to be estimated by one's ability to tolerate provoking situations. The sages gathered on the bank of the river Saraswati concluded that if anyone wants actual peace or freedom from all fearfulness, he should take shelter of the lotus feet of Vishnu. If Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva lost their shelter of the lotus feet of Vishnu, okay, if Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva lost their peaceful attitude upon a slight provocation, How could they maintain the peace and tranquility of the devotees? As for Lord Vishnu, however, it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that anyone who accepts Lord Vishnu or Krishna as the supreme friend attains the highest perfection of peaceful life. The sages thus concluded that by following the principles of Vaishnava Dharma, one becomes actually perfect. But if one follows the religious principles of the particular sect and does not become advanced in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, and all such labor of love is fruitless. To execute religious principles means to come to the platform of perfect knowledge. If one comes to the platform of perfect knowledge, then he will be disinterested in material affairs. Perfect knowledge. Oh, Prabhu, someone else should read, or shall I continue?
I can read, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
There we go.
Perfect knowledge, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Perfect knowledge means to know oneself and to know the Supreme Self. The Supreme Self and the individual self, although one in quality, are different in quantity. This analytical understanding of knowledge is perfect. Simply to understand, I am not matter, I am spirit, is not perfect knowledge. The real religious principle is devotional service or bhakti. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says, give up all other religious principles and simply surrender unto me. Therefore, the term dharma applies only to the Vaishnava dharma or the Bhagavad dharma, following which all other good qualities and advancements in life are automatically achieved. The highest perfectional knowledge is to know the Supreme Lord. Just a second. He cannot be understood by any process of religion other than devotional service. Therefore, the immediate result of perfect knowledge is achieved by executing devotional service. After attainment of knowledge, one becomes disinterested in the material world. This is not because of dry philosophical speculation. The devotees become disinterested in the material world not simply because of theoretical understanding, but practical experience. When a devotee realizes the effect of association with the Supreme Lord, he naturally hates the association of so called society, friendship, and love. This detachment is not dry, but is due to achieving a higher status of life by relishing transcendental mellows. It is further stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam that after attainment of such knowledge and detachment from material sense gratification, one's advancement in the eight opulences attained by mystic yoga practice, namely anima, lagima, and the prapti siddhis, etc., are also achieved without separate effort. The perfect example is Maharaj Ambarish. He was not a mystic yogi, but was a great devotee. Yet, in disagreement with Maharaj Ambarish, the great mystic Durvasa was defeated in the presence of his devotional attitude. In other words, a devotee does not need to practice the mystic yoga system to achieve power. The power is behind him by the grace of the Lord. Just as when a small child is surrendered to a powerful father, all the powers of the father are behind him. When a person becomes famous as a devotee of the Lord, his reputation is never to be extinguished. Lord Chaitanya, when discoursing with Ramananda Rai, questioned, what is the greatest fame? Ramananda Rai replied that to be known as a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is the perfect fame. The conclusion, therefore, is that Vishnu Dharma, or the religion of devotional service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is meant for persons who are thoughtful. By proper utilization of thoughtfulness, one comes to the stage of thinking the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By thinking of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from the contamination of the faulty association of the material world, and thus one becomes peaceful. The world is in a disturbed condition because of a scarcity of such peaceful devotees in human society. Unless one is a devotee, one cannot be equal to all living entities. A devotee is equally disposed towards the animals, the human beings, and all living entities because he sees every living entity as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. In the Isha Upanishad, it is clearly stated that one who has come to the stage of seeing all living beings equally does not hate anyone or favor anyone. The devotee does not hanker to possess more than he requires. Devotees are therefore akinchana. In any condition of life, a devotee is satisfied. It is said that a devotee is even minded even when he is in hell or in heaven. A devotee is callous to all subjects other than his engagement in devotional service. This mode of life is the highest perfectional stage from which one can be elevated to the spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead. The devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are especially attracted by the highest material quality, goodness, and the qualified Brahmana is the symbolic representation of this goodness. Therefore, a devotee is attached to the Brahminical stage of life. He is not very much interested in passion or ignorance, although these qualities also emanate from the Supreme Lord Vishnu. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the devotees are described as Nipuna Buddhaya, which means that they are the most intelligent class of men. Uninfluenced by attachment or hatred, the devotee lives very peacefully and is not agitated by the influence of passion and ignorance. It may be questioned here why a devotee should be attached to the quality of goodness in the material world if he is transcendental to all material qualities. The answer is that there are different kinds of people existing in the modes of material nature. Those who are in the mode of ignorance are called Rakshasas. Those in the mode of passion are called Asuras. And those in the mode of goodness are called Suras or demigods. Under the direction of the Supreme Lord, these three classes of men are created by material nature. But those who are in the mode of goodness have a greater chance to be elevated to the spiritual world back home, back to Godhead. Thus, all the sages who assembled on the bank of the river Saraswati to try to determine who is the supreme predominating deity became freed from all doubts about Vishnu worship. All of them thereafter engaged in devotional service, and thus they achieved the desired result and went back to Godhead. Those who are actually anxious to become liberated from material entanglement would do better to accept at once the conclusion given by Sri Sukadev Goswami in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said that it is said there that hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam is extremely conducive to liberation because it is spoken by Sukadev Goswami. The same fact is again confirmed by Sutta Goswami. If anyone who is traveling aimlessly within this material world cares to hear the nectarian words spoken by Sukadev Goswami, certainly he will come to the right conclusion. Simply by discharging devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will be able to stop the fatigue of migrating from one material body to another perpetually. In other words, by proper hearing, one will become fixed in loving devotional service to Vishnu. He will certainly be able to get relief from this material journey of life. And the process is very simple. One has to give oral reception to the sweet words spoken by Sukadev Goswami in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very good. Someone can continue, Prabhu.
Ribol, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, who wants to continue?
I can continue, or if Jad Prabhu wants to continue, he can also continue.
Yes, Prabhu, if he's not busy, then he can continue.
I'm meditating while listening to you, devotees. So
Yes,
please
Prabhu. I'm also
Okay,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Yes, sir.
Good to see.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Lebang Prabhu, Dandot
Hare
Pranam, Jai
Krishna,
Shri
Laban
Prabhupada.
Prabhu, Pir accept my obligation
Hare
to
Krishna,
the
Libhang Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Ribol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam. Please available says all glories to Prabhupada.
So, Laban Prabhu, you want to read from here, or should I read?
Oh, I can read Prabhu, no problem. Give
Yes,
me a
sir.
few
Hare Krishna.
seconds.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare.
Hare Bol.
Oh, yes, Prabhu, just want to connect the charger. That's it. Haribol. Can I start, Prabhu?
Ribol, yes, Prabhu. From another conclusion.
Okay, yes, let me just. Okay, another conclusion is that we should never consider the demigods, even Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to be on an equal level with Lord Vishnu. If we do this, then according to Padma Purana, we immediately become atheists. In the Vedic literature known as Harivamsa, it is also stated that only the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is to be worshipped. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra or any such or any such Vishnu mantra is always to be chanted. In the second chanto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma says, both Lord Shiva and myself are engaged in the Supreme Personality of Godhead to act in different capacities under his direction. In the Chaitanya Chamrita, it is also stated that the only master is Krishna and everyone is all categories of life as categories of life are servants of Krishna only. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed by the Lord that there is no truth superior to Krishna. Sukadev Goswami also, in order to draw attention to the fact that among all Vishnu Tattva forms, Lord Krishna is 100% the Supreme Personality of Godhead, narrated the story of an incident which took place when Lord Krishna was present. Once upon a time, a Brahmana's wife gave birth to a child. Unfortunately, however, just after being born and touching the ground, the child immediately died. The Brahmana father took the dead child and went directly to Dwarka. Is it Dwarka? Yes, to the palace of the king. The Brahmana was very upset because of the untimely death of the child in the presence of his young father and mother. Thus, his mind became very disturbed. Formerly, when they were responsible kings up to the time of Dwapara Yuga, when Lord Krishna was present, the king was liable to be blamed for the untimely death of a child in the presence of his parents. Similarly, such responsibility was there during the time of Lord Ramachandra. As we have explained in the first chanto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the king was so responsible for the comforts of the citizens that he was to see that there was not even excessive heat or cold. Although there was no fault on the part of the king, the Brahmana, whose child had died, immediately went to the palace door and began to accuse the king as follows. The present king, Ugrasena, is envious of the Brahmanas. The exact words used in this connection is Brahmadvisha, one who is envious of the Vedas, or one who is envious of a qualified Brahmana, or the Brahmana caste is called Brahma Dvit. Is it Dvit? So the king was accused of being Brahma Dvit. He was also accused of being Satadihi, falsely intelligent. The executive head of a state must be very intelligent to see to the comforts of the citizens. But according to the Brahmana, the king was not at all intelligent, although he was occupying the royal throne. Therefore, he also called him Labdaha. Is it Labdaha?
Lubda.
Which means, sorry, Prabhu, is it correct?
Lubda.
Lubda. Oh, Lubda. Which means greedy. In other words, a king or an executive head of state should not occupy the exalted post of presidency or kingship if he is greedy and self-interested. But it is natural that an executive head becomes self-interested when he is attached to material enjoyments. Therefore, another word used here is Vishayat Manaha. The Brahmana also accused the king of being Shatra Bandhu, which refers to a person born in the family of Kshatriyas or the royal order who is without the qualifications of a royal personality. A king should protect Brahminical culture and should be very alert to the welfare of his citizens. He should not be greedy due to attachments to material enjoyment. If a person with no qualifications represents himself as a Kshatriya of the royal order, he is not called a Kshatriya, but a Shatra Bandhu. Similarly, if a person is born of a Brahmana father but has no Brahminical qualification, he is called Brahma Bandhu or Dvija Bandhu. This means that a Brahmana or a, you can go down, Prabhu. Brahmana or a Kshatriya is not accepted. Similarly, by birth, one has to qualify himself for the particular positions. Only then is he accepted as a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. Thus, the Brahmana accused the king that his newly born baby was dead due to disqualifications of the king. The Brahmana took it most unnaturally, and therefore he held the king to be responsible. We also find in Vedic history that if a Kshatriya king were irresponsible, sometimes a consulting board of Brahmanas maintained by the monarchy. Is it monarchy or monarchy? I don't know.
Monarchy.
Monarchy. Is it monarchy?
Yes, monarchy.
Okay, would dethrone him. Considering all these points, it appears that the point of monarchy in the Vedic civilization is a very responsible one. The Brahmana therefore said no one should offer respects or worship to a king whose only business is envy. Such a king spends his time either hunting and killing animals in the forest or killing citizens for criminal acts. He has no self-control and possesses bad character. If such a king is worshipped or honored by the citizens will never be happy. They will always remain poor, full of anxieties and aggrievement. Oh, Prabhu, you just not finished. Okay, aggrievement and always, yes, and always unhappy. Although in modern politics, the post of monarchy is abolished, the president is not held responsible for the comforts of the citizens. In this age of Kali, the executive head of a state somehow or other gets votes and is elected to an exalted post, but the condition of the citizens continues to be fully of anxiety, distress, unhappiness, and dissatisfaction. The Brahmana's second child was also born dead, and the third also. He had 9 children, and each of them was born dead, and each time he came to the gates of the palace to accuse the king. When the Brahmana came to accuse the king of Dwarka for the 9th time, Arjuna happened to be present with Krishna. On hearing that a Brahmana was accusing the king of not properly protecting him, Arjuna became inquisitive and approached the Brahmana. He said, "My dear Brahmana, why do you say that there are no proper kshatriyas to protect citizens of your country? Is there not even some? Is there not? Is oh, is there not even someone who can pretend to be a kshatriya, who can carry a bow and arrow, at least to make a show of protection?" Do you think that all the royal personalities in this country simply engage in performing sacrifice with brahmanas, but have no chivalrous power that Arjuna indicated that kshatriyas should not sit back comfortably and engage only in performing Vedic rituals. Rather, they must be very chivalrous in protecting the citizens. Brahmanas being engaged in spiritual activities are not expected to do anything which requires physical endeavor. Therefore, they need to be protected by the kshatriyas so that they will not be disturbed in the execution of their higher occupational duties. If the Brahmanas feel unwanted separation from their wives and children, Arjuna continued, and the Kshatriyas kings do not take care of them, then such Kshatriyas are to be considered no more than stage players in dramatical performances in their is it theater? Yeah, in the theater. An actor may play the part of a king, but no one expects any benefits from such a make-believe king. Is it such a make-believe king? Similarly, if the king of the executive head of a state cannot give protection to the head of the social structure, he is considered merely a bluffer. Such executive heads simply live for their own livelihood while occupying exalted posts as chief of state. My lord, I promise that I shall give protection to your children. If I am unable to do so, then I shall enter into blazing fire so that the sinful contamination which has infected me will be counteracted. Upon hearing Arjuna speaks in this way, the Brahmana replied, "My dear Arjuna, Lord Balaram is present, but he could not give protection to my children. Lord Krishna is also present, but he also could not give them protection. There are also many other heroes, such as Pradumna and Aniruddha, carrying bows and arrows, but they could not protect my children. The Brahmana directly hinted that Arjuna could not do that, which was impossible for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He felt that Arjuna was promising something beyond his power. The Brahmana said, I consider your promise to be like that of an inexperienced child. I cannot put my faith in your promise. Arjuna, the Brahmana, has lost all his Kshatriya kings. Therefore, to encourage him, if criticizing even his he specifically attacked Krishna saying, I am neither Krishna nor no one of Krishna's like Pradumna or Aniruddha. My next general, I carry the bow known as Gandiva. You cannot insult me because I have satisfied even Lord Shiva by my prowess. When we were both hunting in the forest, I had a fight with Lord Shiva, who appeared before me as a hunter, and when I satisfied him by my prowess, he gave me the weapon known as Pasupatastra. Is it Pasupatastra? My How do you pronounce it, Prabhu? Pasupatra.
Pashupatastra, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Pashupatastra.
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 Haribol.
Do not doubt my
Prabhu, you
chivalry.
can always go reverse, Prabhu. If you don't know a word,
Sorry?
you can go reverse. If you don't know a
Like
word,
how?
you can go like Astra, Tastra, Patastra, Shupastastra, Pashupatastra. Did you get it?
Okay. Oh, now I see. Okay, yes. Prabhu.
You can always go reverse. It'll be easy for you to read.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry for cutting.
I shall bring back your son even if I have to fight with death personified. When the brother was assured by Arjuna instructed, he somehow or other was convinced and thus he ran home. When the Brahma's wife was to give birth to another child, Brahmana began to tell, my dear Arjuna, please come now and save my child. After hearing him, Arjuna immediately prepared himself by touching sanctified water and uttering holy mantras to protect his bow and arrows from danger. He specifically took the arrows which were presented to him by Lord Shiva, and while going out, he began to remember Lord Shiva and his great favor. In this way, he appeared in front of them maternity home equipped with his bow known as Gandiva and with various other weapons. It appears that Arjuna did not leave Dwarka because he had to fulfill his promise to the Brahmana. He was called at night when the Brahmana's wife was to give birth to the child. While going to the maternity home to attend to the delivery case of the Brahmana's wife, Arjuna remembered Lord Shiva and not his friend Krishna. He thought that since Krishna could not give protection to the Brahmana, it was better to take shelter of Lord Shiva. This is another instance of how a person takes shelter of the demigods. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Kamais, is it Kamais, Prabhu? Tair, Hitar Gyanaha. A person who loses his intelligence because of greediness and lust forgets the Supreme Personality of Godhead and takes shelter of the demigods. Of course, Arjuna was not an ordinary living entity, but because of his friendly dealings with Krishna, he thought that Krishna was unable to give protection to the Brahmana and that he would do better to remember Lord Shiva. Later on, it was proved that Arjuna's taking shelter of Lord Shiva instead of Krishna was not at all successful. Arjuna, however, did his best by chanting different mantras and he took up his bow to guard the maternity home from all directions. The Brahmana's wife delivered a male child, and as usual, the child began to cry. But suddenly, within a few minutes, both the child and Arjuna's arrows disappeared in the sky. It appeared that the Brahmana's house was near Krishna's residence, and that Lord Krishna was enjoying everything that was taking place, apparently in defiance. Is it defiance? Defiance of his authority.
It's defiance.
Sorry?
Defiance, Prabhu. Defiance.
Or defiance of his authority.
Yes, Prabhu.
It was he who. Oh, should I continue?
Yes, Prabhu.
It was he who played the trick of taking away the Brahmana's baby as well as the arrows, including the one given by Lord Shiva, of which Arjuna was so proud. Tada Bhavati Alpa Meda Hasam. Less intelligent men take shelter of the demigods due to bewilderment and are satisfied with the benefits they award. In the presence of Lord Krishna and others, the Brahmana began to accuse Arjuna. Everyone see my foolishness. I put my faith in the word of Arjuna, who is important and who is expert only in false promises. How foolish I was to believe Arjuna. He promised to protect my child when even Pradumna, Aniruddha, Lord Balaram, and Lord Krishna failed. If such great personalities could not protect my child, then who can do so? I therefore condemn Arjuna for his false promise, and I also condemn his celebrated bow Gandiva and his impudence in declaring himself greater than Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, Pradumna, and Anuruddha. No one can save my child, for he has already been transferred to another planet due to sheer foolishness only. Arjuna thought that he could bring back my child from another planet. Thus condemned by the Brahmana, Arjuna empowered himself with a mystic yoga perfection so that he could travel to any planet to find the. Yes, you can go down, Prabhu. To find the. Oh, wait.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble just always Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
please
Krishna,
accept
Prabhu. Please accept my humble
Prabhu,
obeisances. All worship of God.
Hare Krishna, Neil Prabhu and Pranjal Prabhu, Dandat Pram, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Oh. Okay. Arjuna empowered himself with a mystic yoga perfection so that he could travel to any planet to find the Brahmana's baby. It seems that Arjuna had mastered the mystic yogic power by which yogis can travel to any planet they desire. He first of all went to the planet known as Yamaloka, where the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, lives. There he searched for the Brahmana's baby, but he was unable to find him. He then immediately went to the planet where the king of heaven, Indra, lives. When he was unable to find the baby, there he went to the planets of the fire demigods, Nairti, and then to the moon planet. Then he went to Vayu and to Varuna Loka. Where he was unable to find the baby in those planets, he went down to the Rasatala. Is it Rasatala planet, the lowest of the planetary systems? After traveling to all these different planets, he finally went to Brahmaloka, where even the mystic yogis cannot go. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Arjuna had that power, and he went above the heavenly planets to Brahmaloka. When he was unable to find the baby, even after searching all possible planets, he then attempted to throw himself into a fire as he had promised the Brahmanas. If unable to bring back his baby, Lord Krishna, however, was very kind towards Arjuna because Arjuna happened to be the most intimate friend of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna persuaded Arjuna not to enter in the fire in disgrace. Krishna indicated that since Arjuna was his friend, if he were to enter the fire in hopelessness, indirectly it would be a blasphemy on him. Lord Krishna therefore checked Arjuna. Assuring him that he would find the baby, he told Arjuna, do not foolishly commit suicide. After addressing Arjuna in this way, Lord Krishna called for his transcendental chariot. He mounted it along with Arjuna and began to proceed north. Lord Krishna, the all-powerful personality of Godhead, could have brought the child back without effort. But we should always remember that he was playing the part of a human being. As a human being has to endeavor to achieve certain results. So Lord Krishna, like an ordinary human being, or like his friend Arjuna, left Dwarka to bring back the Brahmana's baby by appearing in human society and exhibiting his pastimes as a human being. Krishna definitely showed that there was not a single personality greater than he. God is great. That is the definition of the supreme personality of Godhead. So at least within the material world, while he was present, Krishna proved that there was no greater personality within the universe. Seated on his chariot with Arjuna, Krishna began to proceed north, crossing over many planetary systems. These are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as Sapta Dvipa. Dvipa means island. All these planets are sometimes described in the Vedic literature as Dvipas. The planet on which we are living is called Jayambudvipa. Outer space is taken as a great ocean of air, and within that great ocean of air, there are many islands, which are the different planets. In each and every planet, there are oceans also. In some of the planets, the oceans are of salt water, and in some of them there are oceans of milk, in others there are oceans of liquor, and in others there are oceans of ghee or oil. There are different kinds of mountains also. Each and every planet has a different planet type of atmosphere. Krishna passed over all these planets and reached the covering of the universe. The covering is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam as great. The world as a whole is described as like the space, therefore it is illuminated because of light. Sabia to Megahapu and Baraka into the darkness. This hesitation is also about. You can go, Prabhu. The pastimes of Lord Krishna, because the horses of Krishnas are not ordinary. It is not possible for ordinary horses to go all over the universe and then enter into its outer covering layer. As Krishna is transcendental, similarly, his chariot and his horses and everything about him are also transcendental. Beyond the qualities of this material world, we should always remember that Krishna was playing the part of an ordinary human being. And his horses also, by the will of Krishna, played the part of ordinary horses in hesitating to enter the darkness. Krishna is known as Yogeshvara, as is stated in the last portion of Bhagavad Gita. Yogeshvara Hari. All mystic powers are under his control. In our experience, we can see many human beings who have yogic mystic power. Sometimes they perform very wonderful acts, but Krishna is understood to be the master of all mystic power. Therefore, when he saw that his horses were hesitant to proceed into darkness, he immediately released his disc known as the Sudarasana chakra, which illuminated the sky 1,000 times brighter than sunlight. The darkness of the covering of the universe is also a creation of Krishna's, and the Sundarasana chakra is Krishna's constant companion. Thus, the darkness was penetrated by his keeping the Sudrasana chakra in front. Srimad Bhagavatam states that the Sudrasana chakra penetrated the darkness just as an arrow released from the saranga. Is it saranga bow of Lord Ramachandra penetrated the army of Ravana. Ravana, Su means very nice, and Darshana means observation. By the grace of Lord Krishna's disc, Shudrasana, everything can be seen very nicely and nothing can remain in darkness. As Lord Krishna and Arjuna crossed over the great region of darkness covering the material universe, Arjuna then saw the effulgence of light known as the Brahmajyoti. The Brahmajyoti is situated outside the covering of the material universes, and because it can be seen with our present eyes, this Brahmajyoti is sometimes called Avyakta. This spiritual effulgence is the ultimate destination of the impersonalist known as Vedantists. The Brahmajyoti is also described as Anantaparam, ultimate, unlimited and unfair. Is it unfair, unfairmount?
Unfathomed.
What, Prabhu?
Unfathomed.
Unfathomed, yes.
Unfathomed. Okay. It's my first time seeing such a word. Unfathomed.
Some advanced English.
When Lord Krishna and Arjuna reached, can you zoom in a little bit, Prabhu? Yes. When Lord Krishna and Arjuna reached this region of the Brahmajyoti, Arjuna could not tolerate the glaring effulgence, and he closed his eyes. Lord Krishna and Arjuna reaching the Brahmajyoti region is described in Hari Vamsa. In that portion of the Vedic literature, Krishna informed Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, the glaring effulgence, the transcendental light which you are seeing is my bodily rays, O chief of the descendants of Bharata. This Brahmajyoti is myself, as the sun disk and the sun cannot be separated. Similarly, Krishna and his body rays, the Brahmajyoti cannot be separated. Thus, Krishna claimed that the Brahmajyoti is he himself. This is clearly stated in the Brahmasamhita, the Hari Vamsa. In the Hari Vamsa, when Krishna says Aham Saha, the Brahmajyoti is a combination of the minute particles known as spiritual sparks of the living entities known as Chitakana. The Vedic word Soham or I am, the Brahmajyoti, can also be applied to the living entities who can also claim to belong to the Brahmajyoti in the Hari Vamsa. Krishna further explains, this Brahmajyoti is an expansion of my spiritual energy. Krishna told Arjuna, the Brahmajyoti is beyond the region of my external energy known as Maya. Is it Shakti or Shakti? When in this material world, it is not for him to experience this. For in the material world, the is manifested as in the spiritual is manifested that is Vyakta in the Bhagavad Gita. It is said Avyakto Vyaktat Sanatanaha. Both these energies are eternally manifest after this. Lord Krishna entered vast, extensive spiritual water. This spiritual water is called the Karana. The Karananarava ocean or Viraja. It means that this ocean is the origin of the creation of the material world. In the Mrityunjaya Tantra, Vedic literature, there is a vivid description of the Karana ocean, of this Karana ocean or Viraja. Prabhu, ocean is the one that Karana is to.
But Prabhu, it was
The Karana ocean is the same as the one that Karana Daksha is.
yes, Prabhu.
And Prabhu, is it present outside the spiritual, outside the material world, or is it present inside the material world?
Outside, Prabhu.
Sorry. Oh,
Outside the material world, okay.
Like everything in
The,
spiritual world, Prabhu.
the universes are like bubbles in that ocean, floating in the ocean.
No, but here they said that they just crossed the Brahmajyoti, which is the border of the material world. So I think
No,
that
Brahmajyoti is outside the material world. The border is made up of, 10 tattvas, including Mahatattva and others. And outside that border, they could see the Brahmajyoti.
okay.
Oh, yes, Prabhu.
So basically,
Yes, Prabhu. That way that actually confuses me. Is it a person? Is it the universe? Like, is it the borders?
But Prabhu, come again, please.
Like the Mahatattva. Is it a border of the universe or what?
yes, I
It
think
always
so. It's a
confuses.
border.
Mahatattva isn't just the border. Mahatattva is, like Prahlad Prabhu said,
It's total
it's
material energy.
more like a toolbox which is used to make the material worlds.
Yes, Prabhu, it's
So
like
there is
a cloud.
something that helps.
See this, it's
But
like a cloud. The whole spiritual world is one thing, and the one corner of that spiritual world is covered by Mahatattva, and that is like a cloud. It is spiritual world, but it is covered by the material substance. So
So the material world is encased inside the Mahatattva, I think.
yes, the whole material world means Mahatattva because it's the total
Okay.
energy.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, dear devotees, for your kind association. I have to take leave now. I have a few rounds left, so thank you
Thank you
very
so much,
much. All
Shanti
glories to
Prabhu, for
Prabhupada.
joining.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Sami
Prabhu.
Prabhu, also for hosting daily. Tomorrow also I'll join. Thank you. Hari Bol. All glories to
Thank you, Prabhu.
Very good.
It is stated that the highest planetary systems within the material world is Satyaloka or Brahmaloka. Beyond that, they are Rudraloka and Maha Loka. Regarding this Maha Loka, it is stated in the Brahma Samhita, Yaha Karana Ranava Jale Pajati Sma Yoga. Lord Mahavishnu is lying in the Karana ocean. When he exhales, innumerable universes come into existence, and when he inhales, innumerable universes enter within him. In this way, the material creation is generated and again restored. When Lord Krishna and Arjuna entered the water, it appeared that there was a strong hurricane of transcendental effulgence brewing, and the water of the Karana ocean was greatly agitated by the grace of Lord Krishna. Arjuna had the needs of being able to see the very beautiful Karana ocean. Accompanied by Krishna, Arjuna saw a large palace within the water. There were many thousands of pillars and columns made of valuable jewels, and the glaring effulgence of these columns was so beautiful that jewels and the glaring effulgence of those columns was so beautiful that Arjuna became charmed by it. Within the palace, Arjuna and Krishna saw the gigantic form of Ananta Deva, who is also known as Shesha. Is it Sesha? Lord Ananta Deva or Seshananga?
Sheshnag.
Seshnag.
Yes.
Okay. Was in the form of a great serpent with thousands of hoods, and each one of them was decorated with valuable effulgent jewels, which were beautifully dazzling. Each of another Deva's had two eyes which appeared to be very full. His body was a mountain. Is it which is also covered by snow. His neck was blurrish, as were his tongues. The saw the I don't know how do you say Prabhu Sesananga. What?
Sheshnag. Actually, Prabhu, these are Sanskrit terms, and like they're very close to Hindi. That's why I'm able to like perfectly tell it because I learned Hindi in the school. Yes.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, many of these come from Sanskrit. No, these Sanskrit terms. That's why those who have not studied like Sanskrit, they will face some difficulty in pronouncing.
Yes.
Was it here?
Prabhu, we can go like Shesha Naga.
Or many people call just Sheshnag. Either.
No, for Libang Prabhu, it's difficult for him to read
Yeah.
Sanskrit.
Yeah, A means yeah, I can stretch it a little bit. Yes. Ahalan, yes.
But usually they say
Sheshana.
Sheshnag. But yeah, you can go like Sheshnaga.
Okay, Prabhu.
You can go reverse, Prabhu. Like Naga, Sheshanaga.
Sheshanaga.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Prabhu.
yeah.
Okay.
That's better. Yes.
Were you here, Prabhu?
Now, yeah, now you can remove the Naga at the end. So you can stop at Sheshnaga if you can.
Sheshnaga. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Sheshnaga form. And he,
Okay, last page.
I was about to quit. Don't when you say let's page, I was included.
Hey, well, maybe read this last sentence and then we continue from this.
Okay, also saw that on the very soft, yeah, but I can finish it. Or do you want someone else to read?
No,
Hmm.
Prabhu, it's late. We can wrap
Yes,
up.
Prabhu, it's late. So read this sentence and then we go successful company.
Okay, also saw that one on the very soft white body of Sheshnag, Lord Mahavishnu was lying very comfortably. Aribo.
Prabhu, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Rebo.
Is Sheshnaga completely white or he's partial black or partial white? Yeah, I've seen pictures like yeah, the inside part is white, but outside he's different.
Yes, Prabhu.
So here they mention it like white body, so yeah. Yeah, okay, like this. This picture is actually a picture from the book of Prabhupada. I think from the Bhagavatam third canto, I think. This picture.
Yes, Prabhu. Yesterday, Prahlad Prabhu told about Kalya snake and Seshnaga.
Hmm. They, I think I read somewhere that Sheshnaga holds the earth in his hoods.
Yes, Prabhu, the gravitational force.
Yeah, they call it gravitational, but
Yes,
it's
Prabhu.
actually Sheshnaga ji holding it.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, Astakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavanam Kairabachandra Vikaranam Jeevanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Namakari Buddhani Sarva Shaktis Tatrar Pidanyamita Marai Eta Trishi Raha.
क्रीणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि
Nanadam, Najanam, Nasundarim. Kavita Va Jagat Isha Kavaye. Baba Janmani Janmanishware. Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahi Tukit Chwayi.
Ainan Danujakin Karam Patitamam Vishame Bhavam Buddho Kripaya Twavapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrisham Vichintaya.
Yanam.
Nayanam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Please read.
Nayan. Okay. Nayanam Galad Ashrudharaya Vadanam Gadgada Rudhaya Gira Pulak Pulakaye Nichitam Vapuhu Kadaha Tavanama Grahane Bhavishyati.
Gaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravirshaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me.
आश्लिष्य व पादरतां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान्मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः
Haribo, glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
My Lord, your name alone can render all hundreds, millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Nanda Maharaj, O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separations, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally.
Haribo, basic Sastakam ki jai.
Right.
Okay, 10 offenses.
To blaspheme the devotees, oh, I forgot that one. To blaspheme the devotees who dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Haribo,
Second
consider
offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to be equal or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
to disobey the order of the spiritual master or consider him as an ordinary person.
To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in Persian as to the Vedic version.
To consider glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
To give some interpretation of the holy name of the Lord.
To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name.
To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
To instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
Do not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
Vanchakalpatarubhayascha ekvivasudeva च पतितानां पावनवे वैष्णवाय नमो नमः.
Ananda Gaudiya Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you for assisting.